Hello, hello, soulful seekers. Welcome back to Trauma and Transcendence. You know, I've got a brand new guest for you. Today is one of my dear friends who I had the fortune of meeting, or maybe she had the misfortune of meeting me at the Michigan Hypnosis Conference, and we've been fast friends ever since. Lots of little synchronicities and fun things, and it's, been amazing. We've been able to go out and support each other in the world, even at Hypnothoughts. She was there for my medium talk, and so I really love to share her with you today. I'd like you to meet Gwendelyn Irey. Welcome, Gwendelyn.
Hi, I got a wave. Hi, yeah. Oh my gosh, it's been amazing to meet you and to know you and to get to have these conversations with you has been fantastic. My name is Gwendelyn Irey. I am an NLP master practitioner, hypnotherapist, and I'm a laughter yoga leader, among other things. So I don't know. It's a lot of very interesting things. A lot of people know what hypnosis is. I do coaching with people, but I'm certified in laughter, which is I do laughter events called laughter yoga. It's a very specific training, and I go around and lead people in laughing for no reason at all.
Did you always know that that was who you wanted to become or what you wanted to do or be?
That's a very interesting question. I always knew that I was going to travel, even when I was very small. But I came from a very small Hampshire town, and it wasn't a place where you had big dreams or anything. People stayed in the same houses, lived with the same people. I never really knew about laughter. I mean, I had a very difficult childhood. I had a very violent childhood, which didn't lead a lot into laughter, to be honest. But what it did lead into is looking for answers. Well, back then I was young, and the only place I could look for is they didn't have Google. We didn't have phones. I didn't have a computer. So it was bookstores. And I would read every book I could find to figure out how to maybe deal with some of the things that I was dealing with at home. And trying, when you're a kid, you can't get out of it. So you have to do something. You're not going anywhere. You got to figure out how to deal with it. And I came across books about hypnosis. And, I started doing tarot cards and just a lot of different things, any tool that I could find that was going to be useful. And I didn't find laughter until well in my 20s, until quite a bit after that.
Yeah. Wow. But that's a very organic way to come across it. And I think that's the thing for me that is the most validating, the fact that you were looking for your own answers and these are the tools that showed up in your journey, and that's been mine and many, many others as well. And I think that's the testament of this work and these modalities.
Absolutely. I mean, I've been literally studying and reading whatever book I could find about hypnosis since I was like 9 or 10. So I was doing guided meditations very early on in life. It was on a tape cassette. Those old, and a lot of people know what those are anymore, but they would push a button and it would go and walk me down. And the first one I ever listened to, the first one I ever had, I don't remember who it was. And I really wish I do, because he had this distinctive voice. And he would count me down, and he would go, and counting down in hypnosis means that you're doing a count to bring people into a deepening their hypnosis, deepening their relaxation. And he would go, now you're going deeper, asleep. I hear that now, and I think it's very funny. But it stuck with me over these years because it was such a strange way to say that. And he would count you down from 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, going deeper. And that has always stuck with me. And I really wish I knew who that tape was. It's gone. It's long gone now. I was very young, and I've moved from across the country. But it was one of those things that once you have a tool like that, and once you have something that works, that gives you something to have and to use, no matter what the situation is. And it might not, is it going to change your world? Maybe not. Maybe it's the same things are going on out here. But in here, you have more wherewithal to handle it. You have more strength. You have more creativity. And so when I found hypnosis, it was a really, really big, and it was guided meditations and hypnosis, right? So then you find Milton Erickson, and you find all of those people who are really good at those things. But it took me a while, and it took me a lot of years of practice, and it took me a lot of years of reading, Googling eventually, and taking seminars and courses later on. Later on, I discovered a book about laughter and how powerful laughter is, because we hear that laughter is the best medicine, right? What does that mean, right?
Yeah.
We just say it. Laughter is the best medicine. Mm-hmm. And then there's like nothing behind it. So there's actually a woman in the 1970s, but there was a woman who would go around and do laughter events, and it wasn't laughter yoga, it was her own thing, but it was so powerful. And what was really interesting about the book is it talked about the reason we don't laugh. It talked about the scientific reasons that they had at the time. There's a lot of science around how good laughter is for you, but we don't laugh. We get older, we get very serious, because doing a job, right, is very serious. We got to be adults now. No laughing. Laughing is bad for you. I remember one job I had. I was in my 20s. I was in a warehouse, and I'm going and gathering things, and I'm laughing as I'm walking down the aisles doing stuff. And from the desk, way back, I can hear my boss go, "Gwen, get to work." And I was like, well, that's interesting, because I am working. I'm enjoying it because I like it. For me, the exercise was awesome, walking back and forth. And laughing did not equal work. Laughing did not equal seriousness. Laughing did not equal, okay. We think that you have to be happy to laugh. How often have you laughed so hard you cried? Or it was either laugh or cry, right? Because it's like the situation is so ridiculous that you just laugh, right?
You're really lucky if there isn't a third involved in that, especially if you're a woman after a certain age.
Right?
That's how you know that was a really good laugh. Laugh, cry, and possibly need to change your pants.
All the points.
Yeah. My best foundational memories were when I did all three.
Wasn't it?
Yeah.
Right? So why don't we laugh? It's interesting that we become so serious as adults that laughter is the best medicine, but we don't use it. So I always knew I was going to check out some other stuff. So I put the book away, read the book, thought it was fantastic. Then I'm in Sedona with my boyfriend at the time. And we were watching, there's a little tiny theater in Sedona at the time. And we were watching The Birdcage. Now, we live in Phoenix. It's a couple hours away. Nobody knows us there. We're watching The Birdcage. And I'm in there. And I don't know if you've seen The Birdcage, but it's funny. And it's funny right out of the gate. And I was just like, and it was so funny. I didn't laugh, though, because nobody in the theater was laughing. And I was like, oh. And I'm looking around, and there's like maybe 10, 15 people in the theater. You could almost see them in the dark, right? I don't know any of these people. And I was like, you could feel the tension. Every joke that came, every funny part that came, you could feel the tension rising in the air. And I was like, this is weird. I don't know what's going on. And I looked around, and I was very, very shy. I used to be super, super shy. But at that point, I was like, you know what? I don't know these people. I'm never going to see these people. So I started laughing. And as soon as I started laughing, other people had the right, they felt they had the right to laugh. It was okay for them to laugh. And you would hear a couple big more, right? It was slow to start with. And then by the end of the movie, everybody's laughing at the funny parts, which is what you want in a comedy. And I thought that was one of the strangest experiences I'd ever had in my entire life. Didn't think much of it. I realized I had seen things about laughter yoga, people who do laughter. Now, if you look up laughter on the computer, it looks weird. It looks strange. It's one of those things that they put in movies sometimes. Like, somebody goes to a laughter and you're looking and that is just like, that's, I grew up in New England. So we're very serious in New England, that's weird stuff. But the thing is, when you actually do laughter with people in a room, it is magical. There's an energy that happens. When I did it the first time in Vegas for that kind of a group for hypnosis conference. I have done it for smaller groups and have been practicing and doing things in Phoenix for a while. I thought, I really thought this feeling was going to blast. It was amazing. The people were laughing and the energy in that room. People were coming down the hallway to find us, to find out what was going on in this room. And people found me later and had conversations with me about what was going on. I want to make sure you do that again. I am doing it again. I'm happy to say I get to do laughter again in Vegas this year. So I'm super happy. But I knew I was going to get trained in laughter because you want to get trained. Like, how do I do it? I want to get trained. So I was going to give myself a year because all the training seemed to be in California, not in Phoenix. There was nothing in Phoenix. I was like, okay, well, I can save up money for a year. I'm a single mom. I have twins. I got to figure out some stuff. A year later, I look for training, and a woman just happened to be traveling to Phoenix to visit her sister and was doing the laughter training. And that's where I got my training. And it was literally the 20th anniversary of Dr. Madan Katari's laughter yoga.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Wow. Yeah.
But it's amazing.
Gotta love the way universe just lines it all up like that.
It's funny. It's very, very different. It's not a normal thing. Even my husband was like, I think this is great. It's fantastic. Until he saw it in person with other people there, he didn't really get the power of it. And it is powerful. It's free. We could do it anytime, anywhere. We just don't.
I think what stood out to me most when you did this in Michigan was it wasn't just that day while we were laughing. It continued into the whole rest of the weekend. And any time that there were 2 or more of us that had been in the room, we then all had this kind of common shared experience. And it was really hard not to then crack a smile or have a really heartfelt moment after. And I think that's like a huge takeaway. So it's really bonding. I'm going to guess that's because we're releasing oxytocin as it's happening.
Well, and it's part of the laughter yoga. It's built into that. The community, we spend so much time not looking at each other, not looking each other in the eyes, not connecting with each other. Or we go, yeah, how was your day? Where'd you go? You asked me how my day was. We don't fully connect with each other. We don't have time or energy or whatever it is. And when you're in a room laughing with people don't forget it. I do this one where I give you a special watch, and it's time to laugh. And I will see people years later, and across the room they go, it doesn't leave you. It's that powerful and that simple, and we don't use it. I had a very rough childhood, and I was a very serious child. I think I'm actually aging the opposite way myself, because I was very serious. Everything was I was an oldest child, and we had stuff going on. And yet everything keeps going on. Laughter doesn't take away all of that stuff, but it definitely, it oxygenates your blood. It gives you endorphins. It gives you a release system to let go of some of that stuff that you're carrying. And it's such an important thing to be able to do once in a while, or more often. So it's one of the weird things. It's an easy in. It's an easy thing to talk about. It's an easy thing to show people. It takes 2 minutes to change your whole body system. Literally, you do one laughter exercise and your whole body is completely different. And it's an exercise. It's energetic.
Yeah. And beyond presentations, you've actually done that. So I want to say last year, you did a full 21-day laughter series that was live, and you still have them.
I do. So when I first did the training, right, I didn't do anything with it. I got it. I have it. Now I've got the plan, and I sat on it because it was it was a little weird. And I grew up in New England, very stoic. I was very shy. So learning how to actually get out there and do this it's still nerve wracking. Way less nerve wracking now. I mean, I hypnosis and all of these things have helped me become this person here who could talk to you this way when I used to be scared of my own shadow. So I got the training and I didn't do anything for years. And my friends in New Hampshire are going, I heard you got this laughter training. Can we see it? And I'm like, you're in New Hampshire. What am I going to do? Yeah. So I went to my friend's talk. He was talking somewhere to a group. And he said, do a challenge. Do a 30-day challenge. Every day go live on Facebook or Instagram, whatever works for you. Go live every day and challenge yourself. And I was like, okay, 21 days. 21 days is a habit. It's not 30 days. Maybe I can do that. And I decided to go for a challenge of, I told people about it, which, holds me accountable. Now, here's the thing. I had to go live because if I didn't go live, I wouldn't do it. If I tried to edit it, it would never get done. It would never post. So have I ever been on camera live? No. Was I nervous? Absolutely. Was I doing something that was really weird? Gosh, yeah. And what I decided to do is do a 21-day live laughter challenge, different kind of laughter every day. And since my friends were in New Hampshire, I wanted to go to locations outdoors in Arizona because it's gorgeous. We have beautiful weather here. So I would go out in public. I like to really challenge myself. I went out in public, set up my camera in the middle of the desert somewhere at a nice location, and I would do a laugh. And it's still on YouTube. I have all of those up on YouTube if you want to see them. And it was hard. It was not the easiest thing to do. There were days I didn't want to do it, but I will tell you, when I did do them, even on days when there was some really heavy stuff going on, doing that laughter made me feel better. And it made my body feel better, and it made me more energetic. It just made me a better person in the world. So I did another 21-day challenge, and I have to upload those videos. I almost forgot I did them. I did them all 21 days in a row. I knew my days were going to be weird, so they're different, but I will be posting those to the YouTube channel also. But it was a way for really to connect with you, to connect with other people. I had people joining in. I had complete strangers come over and ask me what I was doing and then want to do it with me. And I was just blown out of the water. So if you ever want to accomplish something, do a challenge. Challenge yourself to do something that's outrageous. Tell people you're going to do it and then do it. And it won't be easy. I won't say that, but it will be so valuable.
Okay. Before we left, I had asked, so I heard that laughter really kind of reoriented you into your authenticity, into connection, into more presence. What else did it do for you?
Yeah, I'll be honest. It gave me life on some level. And here's why I say that. As a kid in trauma with a lot of violence in the household, there's no place for you to go in that space. There's no place for you to grow. I spent most of my life not knowing if I was going to be alive, the next day, the next week, whatever it was. So in that space, as a kid, you don't get to dream. You don't get to create dreams that are going to come true because it's not possible. In that reality, for that little girl that lived that life, which was me, there were no possibilities whatsoever. So, believe it, you can dream it. I did a whole talk about you can do it. You don't have to believe it to do it. I have spent my life trying to figure out how to be a better person and how to be alive in this world in a way that gave me some hope. I decided I was depressed for well into my 20s, still searching, always searching for better answers and how to heal myself. But I didn't have a life. I didn't know how to dream. But I would see other people be happy. I would see them doing things, whether they knew it or not, or they were, nice people or not. It didn't matter. And if they could do those things, no matter who they were, then there has to be a way that I could. And I still didn't believe it. And I didn't know what that was for me. But until I kept searching for things and trying new things, and it was super uncomfortable. I just get uncomfortable being unhappy for so long in my life. For being unhappy, having no hope, that I was like, okay, well, I might as well try something different because this is not working.
Mm-hmm.
I decided to keep trying things, talking to people, going to places. Super uncomfortable. Super felt awkward, hated myself most of the time. I didn't like myself anyway. I didn't even know who I was, right? There was no dreams, no building anything. So I had to build it from nothing, from a negative amount. I always say that I clawed my way out of the deep hole to get where I've been now. And that took me a long time. But along the way, people would tell me how much I'd helped them, how much me listening to them made a difference, how much I would go to places and people were like, I was praying for an angel and here you are. I was praying for some help and here you are and having this conversation with me. And I was like, no. Listen, my life is a mess and I'm a mess. I'm trying to figure myself out. I've got nowhere at all to help anyone else. To some extent I could help. I could be a helpful person. But I knew I was lacking. There were pieces of me that weren't there. So when I found laughter and hypnosis and NLP, I was able to look at those pieces and start building parts of myself from scratch, from not knowing, from trying things. How do you know what you want to do for a living? I don't know. Try a bunch of different things. You need to try things. What makes you happy? What are you really good at? What can you struggle at with? And then feel, little wins add up. So it's one of those things where at this point in my life, I've been practicing it so often. I challenge myself, like doing laughter yoga in public. I'm loud. You've heard me laugh a little bit here. You can hear me. It's not something that people are not going to look at you. And from being a very shy person, again, shy and sad and depressed, I'd rather be laughing and having people look at me and happy. And I find that more people are drawn to that. So allowing myself to let go of a lot of those I have the self-judgment still. I mean, I think there's a lot of times in that stuff, we think if you become this way, all of that stuff is gone. For me, that's not a truth. For me, the truth is, well, that stuff is still there.
Yeah.
I just don't let it stop me from doing the things. Or, I might take a little bit longer than somebody else, maybe, but I'll still do them. And it's more valuable. So if I believe in something, I can create it for sure. Don't get me wrong. There's a lot more energy. If you believe it, you can accomplish it. If you don't believe it, you can do a lot of things by not believe it. Yeah. You just do the actions.
I really like that. I really like that point. And the thing that I like about it is it reminds me of a recent client I was working with. We were doing IEMT, which is integral eye movement technique, where it's a lot to explain. It's a weird modality. I haven't covered it here on the podcast yet. Basically, we move the eyes and I have them remember different segments of their life. And in doing that, we don't take away the memory. We take away the association of the feeling. And so I had a lady in her 20s who hadn't driven in like 2.5 years. And as we're doing the work and we're, resolving imprints, she's feeling lighter. She's starting to get out and to drive. Immediately after the first session, she drove. And then she comes back the following week and it's like, okay, so I know you drove immediately after the session. How much driving have you done since then? And she was like, well, to be honest, not very much. And I was like, really? What's stopping you? And she's like, well, the fear. And it's like, okay. On that day of our appointment, it was raining outside and I didn't even want to drive. And I was like, do you think that I get in my car and I absolutely feel awesome about driving in a snowstorm? No, I didn't want to drive here today. But I needed to be here for you and it was important. And that was more important than the discomfort that I had while driving. And it's the same for people who are smoking and they're wanting to quit smoking. Do they quit smoking and not ever have cravings? No, occasionally it's going to come up, but they make the choice that it feels better to go in the direction they want to go and not have that hold them back. And I think that's a huge misconception in
Yeah.
so many different paths of life. So I love that you bring that up.
Yeah, it was interesting to me when I was doing research and reading books. There was this one book that said, we get rid of our ego. Our job on earth is to completely, that voice in your head that says all this stuff, right? I don't believe that. Here's what I know. I was avoiding this conversation today because I know it's a wonderful conversation. It's reminding me of what I need to keep doing and all of that fantastic stuff. When that stuff gets loud, it's kind of a signal to me that something cool and awesome is going to happen, because my ego voice, that voice up there, gets scared. It wants me to sit and eat sugar and sit on the couch and be by myself. It's nice and safe that way. Nothing can happen except not good things happen. But it's safe. We know what happens, right? So that I don't believe that goes away. You can use that. I mean, now that I've healed a lot of those aspects of my life and I've conquered them over and over again, do they get less? Yes. Is it easier to conquer certain things? Yes. Do I come across huge goals that are bigger than I think I can handle? Absolutely. And I get terrified. But I know I have tools, and I use those tools in my own time, in my own space, and with people that I love and care about. So it's not that your challenges, you don't get healed. We don't become enlightened. It's like, I love the saying, before enlightenment, chopping wood, carrying water. After enlightenment, chopping wood, carrying water. It's the same thing. But we have this thing where it's bliss. We think we get to be blissed out and nothing's wrong in the world. And that's not what it is. It's the same thing with laughter. Laughter doesn't take away or erase all those things. It just gives you a place to sit with that has more power than you had before. And that's important. It's okay to be scared. It's okay to be lazy. It's okay to avoid. I mean, we all do it. Every single one of us does it. Some of us admit it, some of us don't. It's fine. Some are really
We're going to go through
at
life either way.
Yeah, life it's going to show up. Like, if I'm going to have to keep living depressed in my 20s, there's a lot more life I've got left. So I might as well, embarrass myself and try some new things and see what happens. There's more value for me in that, and more joy, and more people, and more relationships. I've done things I never thought I would do as a kid. If you told me I'd be doing this, having a podcast, talking to somebody across the country about laughter and speaking on stages and doing some of this amazing stuff, I would never have believed you. And it makes me more curious. If I've accomplished all that stuff that I didn't think I didn't believe in, what if I got really outrageous? What if I got dream bigger? I'm always telling people to dream bigger, telling myself, because I didn't know how to dream, right? Now, in my 50s, I'm dreaming bigger and bigger. And things are happening because there's a pattern of keeping doing it. There's a pattern of challenging yourself. And it doesn't matter how old you are. If my last 20, 30 years of my life is just an amazing time, or just like this, it doesn't really matter. But why not see what I can do? At the very worst, nothing.
There was, I'm trying to remember where I found this. There was an article talking about people's deathbed confessions, and more often than not, the things they regretted were the risks they didn't take. They played too small.
Yeah, I'm perfect example of that. Like, I'm a recovering perfectionist. I would not do anything because I couldn't do anything. I got news for you. If you can't do it perfectly, you're not going to do anything at all. Because nothing that you start out, you've got to be willing to go out and fail and look silly. You have to be willing to fail as many times as it takes, because the only way you get to success of any kind is through failure, and through failing more and more often. And it's terrifying because you don't think you're going to get there, but people do. And it might not be the success that you thought, but it'll be a success that you wouldn't have had if you hadn't tried. Right?
Yeah.
It's amazing.
So if somebody's listening today and they are maybe where you were 30 years ago, 20 years ago, even 10 years ago, And if they're caught up in like that perfectionism, self-doubt, self-criticism, staying hidden, staying safe, not
Staying
able to
invisible.
break through their own shell. Right. Yeah. What advice would you want them to take away from today?
There's hope. I don't care how old you are, how young you are. I don't care what situation you are in life, because I've been in situations. I mean, they could have been way worse. Don't get me wrong. They could have been way better. But what I know is everything is temporary. And all you can do in life is continue to find and gather. Nowadays, we have Google, we have people, we have seminars, we have free information, libraries. Search, find it. If nothing makes you happy, why is that? Why doesn't anything make you happy? Is it because you haven't tried everything yet? Because you haven't tried everything. I don't care what you've done, you have not tried everything, right? We say we tried everything. We really haven't. Until we search for that and be comfortable being uncomfortable. Because it's not easy, but I will tell you this, being drastically uncomfortable. It used to be where if I had a conversation with somebody, for 2 weeks afterwards, I would stress over it and replay it in my head and feel horrible and feel guilty and that was part of my trauma, right? It's built in. It's a built-in system. But I kept doing it. And eventually those 2 weeks was maybe a week, maybe a day, maybe an hour. Sometimes I still do have 2 days where I have a bad day. And I have 2 days of going through that mental process, but I know it's temporary. It's just stop. Find people who can help you. They are out there. The people that don't help you, you move on from them quicker and keep looking, because there are people out there who can relate to what you're going through. We think we're alone, and we are a lot of ways. But there are a lot of people who can connect with you, even if it is you're in a group of people right now that you can't see outside of the trees. There are other people out there that feel the same way that you do. And keep searching and don't give up. I'm 55 and I just found the love of my life, who is my little soulmate. I am starting my business over. I have a day job. I have kids. I've got all that stuff. And I'm just starting a new adventure. Your life could be an adventure if you wanted to. And as my husband says, adventures are seldom comfortable.
That's right.
But I know that things can get better. Sometimes they're going to get worse before they get better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those places of uncomfortableness, that's where the neuroplasticity happens.
They're hard to sit with, man. Call somebody. I think Simon Sinek said he's got an agreement with his friends. Do you have 8 minutes? It takes 8 minutes conversation with a good friend. Now, a good one, not the ones that are like going to talk to you bad or make you feel bad. I found myself talking to people that made me feel bad, and then I felt guilty about it. Doesn't make any sense when I talk about it now, but we all know that, where we have this friend or this person we talk to, and for some reason I would go away. You didn't say anything. You didn't do anything. And yet I would go away feeling horribly guilty and horrible about myself. And I just decided not to talk to that person anymore. And it wasn't that there was anything wrong with him. There wasn't anything wrong with me. It just something there wasn't working. And I had to let that go, because if I let that go, then I've got this room for people who support me and lift me up. Our hypnosis community is one of the most amazing communities you could ever meet. And I've been in communities where they are basically in competition with each other, drastically. I've spent a lot of time doing it. I'm not interested in competition, except with myself. And there are supportive people out there. You just have to keep looking for them.
Yeah. The hashtag for Michigan Hypnosis Conference this year is collaboration over competition. And I want to say that came from our very dear mutual friend, Jim Kellner, who somehow I managed to talk about on every episode.
It's hard not to.
He was amazing. There were so many amazing things. I don't know how that much wisdom and power and grace could come through one person, but it certainly did. And he aimed it at everybody he connected with. So when I think of collaboration, I think of Jim.
Yeah. He was on a mission, and he's put a lot of us together. I mean, he's the reason I'm doing speaking engagements. He said, Gwen, go sign up. And I said, okay. And I was thinking, there's no way. And then I've been speaking ever since. And it was because one of my friends told me and supported me and wanted that to happen. And that's just one person. Can you imagine a room full of people who are literally wanting you to win? And literally they're wanting you to win for you. And there are groups of people like that out there. There are tons of people who don't do that. Just don't go there. Stop doing that. It's an old game. It's an old thing. It's people who
It's a
don't, there's a
strategy.
scarcity around it.
It's a strategy, and they haven't developed a new one. And it's not that they don't want to. They just, how do they reach for something that's outside of their potential, their capacity? They don't know exists.
Well, and it worked at some point in time. At some point in time, it worked to a certain extent.
Yeah.
But now collaboration, working with people are going to know who you are. They want to. They want to work with you. We want to work together. We're stronger and more powerful together ever. And this is coming from a lone wolf. I was alone most of my life. I felt alone. I didn't feel supported. There was no place I could go, and I desperately wanted people. And it took me some time to, weed out the neediness and weed out the finding people who would just use me for what they could use me for. That's a back and forth. But do that, learn it, move on. It's okay.
Yeah.
And people are okay where they're at.
If somebody wants to begin to explore laughter yoga, and they're brave enough to try it on their own, in a vacuum even, or maybe they choose to follow along to your videos on YouTube, is there a certain amount of time that they need to put in each day to feel the results?
I don't think it's I'm very individualistic. I have a hard time. I'm one of those people who's like, if you tell me I have to do it this way, I'm going to do it my way. If you did put, here's what the science will tell you. People who do half hour laughter yoga every day for a week, or say 5 days a week, and they do that for a month or 2 months, your life starts to change. The more you do these practices, the better off you get at them. The more you do them when you don't want to do them, the better your life gets. And your life does get incrementally better as you keep implementing. It's going to get, some places it's going to get worse because you're overcoming a block. That's fine. But if the more you do these and continue to come back to the stuff that works, the better it is. Dr. Katari takes a shower every morning. That's his shower every morning. Zig Ziglar said, inspiration is fantastic. It's like a shower. You need to do it every day. It's not that
Does it have to be?
I'm paraphrasing.
Yeah. When we're looking at that half an hour, does it have to be all in one sitting, or can it be broken up throughout the day?
You don't even have to do half an hour. If you did 10 minutes, if you do 2 exercises in the morning, if you literally woke up in the morning and did 2 of the exercises on one of those videos, and you can forward through my talking and tell you where I'm at, and just do an exercise, which is one of the ones is the meter where I put my arms out and we go A, and laugh. It takes 2 seconds. It's like not even 2 minutes. If you did that every
the other
morning,
day, by the way.
You did it the other day?
I did that the other day, by the way. I did. I had somebody who was stuck in a story, and I wanted to interrupt that pattern.
Oh.
She had no idea that was laughter yoga, but I was like, I don't like what your brain is doing. I'm just going to disrupt this right now.
Well, and in fact, some of the times I use the laughter yoga in my practice, and I'll do laughter at the end to incorporate everything we've done. I have people go, can we do the laughter now? I've been waiting for the laughter. But it's after the work, But if you did it every day, if you did it, incorporate it every morning or every evening when you go to bed, and make it a practice, because here's the thing, you can do it randomly, and it does help. Don't get me wrong. That's fantastic. It doesn't matter. But the more consistently you do something, the better off it gets for you. The more your body gets used to it, it becomes a habit. And it's hard I can laugh very easily and it doesn't sound fake because it's not for me anymore because I've been doing it. So do it every morning. I challenge you. Do it every morning for a week and then tell me what happens. Nothing happens. I'm fascinated to see because everybody's different. Everybody has a different take on it. And you can literally open up one of my videos on the YouTube channel. It's GKAY, do it anyway, because I've always just done it anyway. Even though I didn't believe I could do it, I still did it. I was surprised, but I did it. Open up a video. Watch that video every day. Watch somebody else's video. I'm working on something where I want to do like a month, every quarter or something doing a live Zoom laughter. So I'm working on some things this coming year. If you want to know about it, just email me and I can keep people up to date on that. I have friends who
Actually,
put laughter on their phone as a message.
I have a large group. I'm wondering if you would like to be a guest presenter.
Absolutely. Here's the thing.
Let's do that.
Absolutely. I will show up anywhere, anytime, anyhow, and laugh. And it could be Zoom, it could be in person. It doesn't matter. And it's free, it's easy, and I don't need anything to do it except this. So why would I say no to that? And I will show up anywhere.
So let's put a date on it, not right this minute, and then what I can
Yes.
do is update the show notes so that if anybody wants to have that experience of laughter yoga and seeing what it feels like and what it does, that they have the opportunity to join us both. And then we'll host
people are
it
going
in
to
my
ask,
meetup.
yeah. And they might ask if it's going to be as good over Zoom as it is in person. And it is. Absolutely is. In person, it's like a different flavor.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But it's very, very valuable. And you will get here's the thing, your body doesn't know the difference between fake laughter and real laughter anyway. If you're laughing at me or laughing with me, I don't care because it means you're getting the benefit.
Right. Either way, your body is having that vagal toning response. And so when we're laughing, all of that movement is still happening.
Yeah.
Your body is still
It's
going to shift into parasympathetic. Yeah.
It's really kind of ridiculous. I mean, I take laughter very seriously, and I am completely certified. So
I don't know about certified. I've been told I'm certifiable many times.
both works, I'm sure.
I think they equate to one another sometimes.
Depends on the day.
Right. If it's coming from my spouse, I'm a little less worried.
They signed up for it.
After 15 years, listen, I'm not sorry for him anymore. He made his choice, and if he's foolish enough to do it again, then it's all on him.
And I'm newly married, so I'm still like, you signed up for this one.
That was in the fine print. Oh well.
Too late now. You're in, and you're never getting out. Well, what a way to live,
What is something you're looking forward to growing into in the next few years?
Oh my gosh. I have so many things on my mind right now. Being married is an adventure with my husband. I found a man who will adventure with me, and that's amazing. I've always warned my children. I'm a single mom of twins. They're now 26 and out of the house. And I warn them that when they leave the house, that I'll be traveling the world. I want to travel the world and bring hope and laughter and light to everybody that I can bring that to. I want to be able to connect with people. I want to be able to, when I was young, you couldn't find people. There was nobody to connect with. And it was hopeless. And there weren't that many answers. And it was really hard. And nowadays it doesn't have to be. And I want to bring more light and joy into people's lives. I want to bring your personal power back because everyone that watches this, everyone who's out there is an amazing person that doesn't really know how amazing they are and how beautiful and how much possibilities that they have. And my goal is to show that part of you because I had to show myself my own parts, and I'm still working on that. But how about we can do it together? The more that we heal each other and with each other, the more everybody else heals. It just gets better and better. It gets lighter and lighter. And I just want to spend more time in that. I want to spend the rest of my life doing that. And I'm very excited I want to start doing stage hypnosis, which I had not thought about doing because I work so much with trauma. But I didn't think stage hypnosis fell into that, but it does in a different way than I thought. I want to do more speaking engagements. This year is going to be about, my honeymoon with my husband. So I'm doing less speaking engagements this year, which is different. But the year after that, it will be completely different. I have a book to write, just a lot of different things. So there's a lot of things in my future. I'm taking my time doing what I'm going to do. I think everything happens at the right time, and I'm okay with that. So right now, I'm just happy.
And just laughing every step of the way.
Oh, absolutely. In fact, I'm doing a St. Patrick's laughter for a senior center on St. Patrick's Day. So, because they wanted to wear the green and So that's really fun. So I want to do more of those. When you do these sort of things, it's uplifting to me as well as other people. And if I can uplift myself and other people at the same time, why would I not do that? It's fantastic.
I love that. That's so beautiful that you're doing that at a senior center. How did you get started with being able to offer that there? Because my goodness, I can't think of anybody who needs it more. They need the
Yeah, well,
oxygen, they need the companionship, they need all of it.
yeah, and there's a lot of there's a lot of, here's the thing. There's a lot of places that have money to spend, and they have a whole uh, personnel dedicated to finding and bringing people in to do fun things. There's singers that go to some of the senior homes. They also, people are always looking for talent and looking for somebody to do something. People are always looking to fill a speaking engagement. They have space, they have meetings, they have all these different things. So I was trying to think of how I found, I think I have a friend who knows that I do laughter, and she put me together with another friend who has a senior center and wanted me to come and do laughter there. And then I had mentioned, and so mostly all the things I've done have been, a lot of it's been word of mouth because people know that I do these things, and so they tell people. And this last one, I don't know her. I had mentioned something about doing laughter because she was talking about laughter was powerful. And I made a comment on the Facebook post. And she's like, will you come and do that? I was like, well, yes, of course I will. So there's a lot of places and there's a lot of opportunity out there that we just don't know about until we start to find out about it. And then you actually have to physically do something about it, or know people, or just call and ask. There's a lot of ways to be able to share your skill set. If you like to tell comedy, if you like to tell stories even, or maybe you like to teach people how to knit. There are a million ways that people do the things that they love to do that help other people. And so I'm really curious on all the different ways that maybe I can fit. I love new things. I love projects. I like doing little different things and doing it differently. So I'm kind of excited about finding the ways I can fit what I do into helping people in different ways that I hadn't thought about. Because you don't know until you know, right? And I've started finding this out by going to the seminars, like the hypnosis seminars, and they're like, contact these people, go look at this place, and just talking to different people. And the more people you get to meet, the more you get to grow, the more you learn.
The more that you're really actually just super present and having new experiences. I mean, how many times do we just go through life and we're on autopilot? We're not really present and we're not in the moment.
Yeah,
I love that laughter can do that, and as well as being
I
with
do
good
too.
people.
Well, it's the
Yeah.
same thing with like hypnosis. I say I do hypnosis, and people are like, I need that. I'm like, we all do, really. We all need a little bit of hypnosis and laughter. It's an important thing.
And, we know this from NLP, but maybe our audience doesn't know this quite as well. But when your body is doing those physical things that you would do if you were happy, you can do those physical things when you're not happy, and it's going to bring up those positive, more helpful, hopeful emotions. And that's a thing
Yeah.
of NLP when we're talking about like state management.
Yeah.
When you're depressed, that takes a certain posture, it takes a certain energy. You've got to really commit to it. You got to put the shoulders in and the head down and then full slump.
Right.
And when you're laughing, you got to fully commit to that too. So, yeah.
And you don't have to, but if somebody else is laughing, it's hard not to laugh. It's very catchy.
Right. Have you ever seen my spouse in a movie theater?
Oh my goodness. Really?
At first I was mortified. Oh God. Yes. At first I was utterly mortified. And then after a while I just I embraced it because I could see like how helpful it was for other people, especially if it was a movie that wasn't fully sold out. And it's a little more awkward when there's only like a handful of people. And when he really enjoys something, he doesn't hold back.
Oh,
he
that's
he has
awesome.
this laugh that sometimes sounds like Goofy, complete with the yuck sound at the end. Just at first, it would slay me, and he would laugh at things that weren't honestly that funny. And then I could see like how he'd get the whole movie theater going. And as you were sharing, it reminded me of that.
It's so
And it's
awesome.
just the funniest thing.
It's the little
But
joy, the
him
little things in life, right? And it makes so much of a difference. It really does.
him being in that full expression gave so many other people that permission to do that same thing.
Yeah. And it's funny because so one of the other reasons before I got training, I was in a very big money seminar, and it was a big money seminar. It was very serious. Like people who are entrepreneurs, they're making dollar bills, and all of a sudden, and it's 2,000 people, 2 to 3,000 people in a auditorium. And all of a sudden they stop everything and then they put a laughter track. And I'm sitting there going, no, here we go again. And I could feel not one person laugh. 3,000 people, 2 to 3,000 people, literally very serious people who came here to get some, coaching, and they are wiggling in their seats. You could feel the tension strangling people. And I was looking, and people are uncomfortable. They're all looking at me. They're terrified.
Yeah.
And I looked, and I was like, okay, that is it. I've had it. And I started laughing so hard because I knew what was going on. And I was just like, this is so funny that we have big players, people who want to play big and make money and be entrepreneurs. And not one of them, they were so afraid to laugh and be the first one to laugh. And it was so odd to me. And I started laughing so hard, I was crying. I was bawling. And my friend who sat over across the thing, he goes, and this was the first night. This was the first day. And for the whole rest of the weekend, I was known as, you're the laughing girl. Because anywhere I would go, I would laugh, and people would go, oh, you're the laughing girl. Yes, that was me. Because as soon as I started laughing, everybody else started laughing. I mean, I was almost peeing my pants that time because it was so funny to me that you have all of these people who are really up to stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they were so scared to just laugh or be the first one to laugh. And how interesting is that? And I was able to laugh, and the room it was like waves of energy moving through that room. And I realized the power it was, and how it's one of the reasons we're afraid of looking bad. We're afraid of being laughed at. So I'm like, I'm certified for you to laugh at me. And it's fantastic. And I love that. And I love that it lets me let go in real life, in my everyday pursuits. Somebody's laughing at me. Well, isn't that great? Oh, I might as well laugh at them.
Yeah.
But
There's
yeah, it was
another
phenomenal.
aspect to it that I'm thinking about, and it's in terms of how we manifest. So recently I took a class just for a little bit of educational fun. I don't know if I'm going to offer this at any point, probably not, but I took a human design class just to go experience a thing. I don't like stagnation. I like to be experiencing new things all the time. What I learned was that I'm a generator. And as a generator, part of that is I need to enjoy something in order for it to succeed. And so when I'm thinking about that room of 2,000 to 3,000 people where they're not able to laugh, and I'm thinking, oh my God, can you imagine all the generators in the room and they're in this serious discomfort? Now they're associating that with the goals that they want rather than actually surrendering, enjoying the moment, using the vibration of the laughter, because it's a huge vibration raiser, and actually using those positive feelings to then associate towards their goal and to manifest it that much more better.
Exactly. Letting that energy go. You can't hold that energy in. And I'm an engager. Oh, wait, no, I'm an engager in the one thing. I can't remember what I am in the human design, but it makes sense. I'm engaging people all the time. I'm gathering people in. But for me, I have to live the life. I can't, there's people who can go out and build things and make money and do it that way. I have to be who I am in every aspect of my life for my success to be part of who I am. It's interesting. I can't force it. I can't sell myself. Selling myself has never worked for me. People have told me I can sell water to an Eskimo, but it's not because I'm selling the water. It's because I know the Eskimo needs the water. I know what the value of the water is. And so when I'm not really great at, I'm not, social media, I'm fine with, but it's the selling of myself that doesn't work for my personal type. My personal type is show who I am, and those who need me will find me. And it took me a while to be okay with that, because we're not taught to do that. We're taught to push, sell, push. I don't want to sell to you. If you don't want me, or you don't, what I need is not what you're looking for, then I don't want to waste both of our time. I want to let it go. There's probably somebody out there who's going to do what you need them to do for you. That might not be me. Like I got a list of people. Check out. And we all do something different.
When we met, that was the thing that stood out, was that you were really just yourself, and that became the thing that I associated with you that I love most about you. Absolutely.
It's a weird thing when I would go out to, karaoke or whatever. And one of the compliments I would get a lot, which I found very strange, was, "You're very real, aren't you?" And I didn't understand it until I started understanding more about the human design and I have a friend who does what's called personality DNA. And it made sense because I guess other people don't play the same way I play. They're not doing the same thing in the same way that I'm doing it. I do it my way. And I do it in a lot of ways that other people do it. So, and it's not wrong or right. We're all just different people.
Yeah. I think
and we have different likes and dislikes.
I think sometimes people like on the spectrum or who have ADD, they have a thing called masking because they don't always feel socially comfortable. They're aware of their discomfort, and they also know that they don't want other people to feel any kind of way about them not enjoying the process, and so they're used to masking.
Yeah.
And essentially they're walking around being inauthentic to please everybody else.
Yeah. And that's
how painful.
We spend our lives trying to be off. A lot of us spend our lives trying to find out who our authentic selves are. And we do get kicked around when you're a teenager and in your 20s, and as a kid, you're told what to be and what not to be. And then in your, late 20s, 30s, and 40s, you start to go, you know what? Some of this isn't working anymore, or it never has. And then you get to discover for yourself who you might be in that. And discovering, that's a beautiful thing. That's one of the things I love about aging, is that there are periods in your life that you experience different parts of it. And then you get to find out who you really are and start to live in that. Like, I'm 55 and I'm more than happy to tell you that I'm that age, because I like who I am now. In my 20s,
not everybody gets an opportunity to get there.
And it took time. It took a lot of work and time and doing things. And yay, my best part of my life is coming up. And so it can for everyone else. And that's, I love that. I love that everybody's different. I love to find out how they're different. Like, how do you feel about different things? How do you experience? We all experience an orange in a different way, or an apple, And there's so many different ways. It's just, that's what makes us beautiful. That's what makes the world colorful and amazing. And that's why I love NLP, because the work is not about cookie cutter. Not everybody loses weight the same way or stops smoking the same way. It's learning about who you are and how you move into the world, and how can we have that be better for you in a way that makes it for you and not for me or anyone else. And that's important to me. Cookie cutter stuff never made any sense. When I used to read about psychology when I was a kid, and it was always labeling people. And I always got mad about that, because I'm like, I don't want to be, at my age, we didn't want to be labeled. I wanted to be understood. And maybe I was the same in this part, but I'm different in this part. Where is it coming from? And I think that's what a lot of people go through. They really want to be understood. They want to understand themselves, and then be understood in a way that out in the world where they can, do what they're good at.
So if there is one key point that you'd like the audience to take away from our conversation today, what would that be? Because we've had
You're amazing. You're amazing. We are all individually powerful and amazing, even if we feel like we aren't. You have the capability of doing anything that you want if you're willing to be uncomfortable. And I do say that, and people are like, well, if I'm, here's the thing, you can give yourself limits if you like, and it's okay. And there's so much more that if you want to accomplish, you can just find people to help you, and you will get there. So the possibilities are endless, but you can be whoever you want, or don't have to be anyone. This whole, you have to be certain people or be healed or be, have to be happy, have to be all. I'm not into like making people be anything but what they are, and allowing them to be the strongest them that they can be at any given point. And I think people are amazing. They're resilient. They're beautiful inside and out, whether you agree with them or don't agree with them. There are a lot of ways that we're all alike together, and we're stronger together when we realize that. Not everybody's good at everything. You don't want everybody to be like, you get a pepperoni pizza and everybody's eating the pepperonis off the pizza. You don't want everybody doing that. You want people to be different. You want people to have different skill sets. I think it's important that you are different, and that's okay. And it's wonderful. And it's a power that you don't even know you have. That's it, really.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for being so generous with your time, your experiences, and your insights. It's so appreciated.
Thank you so much. I love these conversations. I just want to spread. I think the more we have these conversations with each other, the more it ripples outwards.
It does.
And you're
and then
amazing.
It gets to live.
Obviously, your audience knows how wonderful and amazing you are. I am so glad that the Michigan Hypnosis Conference brought us together and that Jim brought us together. Our friendships, we're lucky to have them when we get the good ones.
Absolutely. Yeah. All right, Soulful Seekers. So I will try to put everything in the show notes on where you can find Gwendelyn to start. Maybe today is the day you choose to jump in and try a 21-day laughter challenge for yourself. Maybe you even invite some friends for accountability. And if not, well, let's try to get something on the books where we can actually show up live together.
Be awesome. Thank you.
I'll get it in the show notes.
I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah. And then reach out to Gwendelyn because she does actually do larger events. So if you want to have a corporate function, you've got something coming up, you want to shake it up, do something different, I can't find a better person to come and do that for you in the really heart-centered way that she does. So that is a thought. But for now, stay healthy, be well, be happy. Most of all, stay inspired. Bye for now, everyone.
Thank you.